Welcome to the Murray Newlands Show. Today I want to talk about the CEO AI Leverage Report from Open Future Forum. The CEO AI Leverage Report is an Open Future Forum operator research report on how chief executives are deciding, funding, signing, and getting leverage from AI in 2026. And the central finding is simple. The CEO signs more AI than anyone, but the proof is produced somewhere else. That is the CEO mandate gap. The CEO owns the AI story. The CEO is accountable to the board. The CEO is often the person whose signature sits behind the AI purchase. But the actual return on AI is usually proved inside finance, IT, security, marketing, sales, product, or an individual business unit. That distance is what the CEO AI Leverage Report measures. The report shows that the CEO seat has claimed the AI decision. BCG's AI Radar 2026 found that 72% of CEOs call themselves the main AI decision maker. Inside Open Future Forum's own finance rooms, the CEO is also the most named signer of a new AI purchase at 47%. That is ahead of the CFO or finance at 25% and the CIO or CTO at 23%. So the signal is clear. AI accountability is concentrating at the top, but signing is not the same as proving. That is the issue. The CEO may sign the AI purchase, but the CFO has to prove the return. The CIO has to make the systems work. The CTO has to make it scalable. The CISO has to govern the risk. The CMO has to show marketing leverage. The CRO has to show pipeline impact. And the business unit has to make it work in the real workflow. That is why the CEO AI Leverage Report matters. It is not just asking whether CEOs care about AI. They do. It is asking whether AI is creating leverage at the level the CEO now has to defend. The old CEO question was, are we using AI? The new CEO question is, what has AI changed? Has AI changed the cost structure? Has AI changed the headcount plan? Has AI changed output? Has AI changed the workflow? Has AI changed customer experience? Has AI changed the speed of execution? Has AI changed governance? Has AI changed the company's ability to grow without adding resources at the same rate? That is the leverage question, and that is why the flagship metric in this report is the CEO AI Leverage Index. The CEO AI Leverage Index is designed to measure the share of chief executives who say AI is mainly letting the company grow output without matching headcount growth or replacing planned hires. That is the right question for the CEO seat, because CEOs are not ultimately judged on whether they bought AI tools. They are judged on whether AI changes the company's performance. Leverage means the company can do more without scaling cost at the same rate. Leverage means AI changes the company's operating math. Leverage means the CEO can say not only we deployed AI, but this is what AI changed. That is the difference between AI activity and CEO-level AI leverage. The report also shows why the pressure is rising quickly. Enterprise generative AI spend reached $37 billion in 2025. AI spend has moved out of experimental innovation budgets and into core budgets. That means AI is no longer a side project. It is now a real budget line. But the return picture is mixed. Some studies show positive returns. Others show that many AI pilots still produce no measurable profit and loss impact. That is exactly why the CEO seat is under pressure. The AI spend is real. The AI story is public. The board is watching. The market is watching. Employees are watching. But the proof still has to be created in the work. That proof window is short. In Open Future Forum's finance rooms, 54% named proving ROI as the top blocker to spending more on AI, and 62% expect measurable return inside 6 months. That is a hard clock. The CEO may talk about long-term transformation, but the budget demands short-term proof. That is one of the most important insights in the CEO AI Leverage Report. The CEO signs the ambition. The functions have to deliver the evidence. The report also shows that the sellers often pitch through other doors. AI founders selling into companies named the CIO or CTO at 43% and the business unit at 38% as the buying seat. That tells us something important. The AI market often enters through functional doors. The seller may go to IT. The buyer may sit in a business unit. The CFO may hold the budget. The CISO may inherit the risk, but the CEO owns the company-level result. That is the CEO AI mandate. AI does not arrive neatly through one lane, it enters through every lane, it affects every function, and then it rolls up to the CEO. That is why the CEO has no single AI room. The CEO shows up in every room. In Open Future Forum's July 2026 poll, there was no single CEO-only event in the data. But CEO-titled applicants appeared across the rooms: founder rooms, fintech engineering, growth, security, finance, investor gatherings, and CFO events. That is the point. AI has no single functional home, and neither does the CEO's AI responsibility. The CEO sees AI across the whole company. Finance sees budget, IT sees systems, security sees risk, marketing sees authority and demand, sales sees pipeline, product sees velocity, operations sees process, the board sees governance. The CEO has to connect all of it into one answer. Is AI creating leverage? That is what makes the CEO role different from every other seat. The CEO cannot only ask whether a tool works. The CEO has to ask whether the company is changing. The CEO cannot only ask whether a pilot succeeded. The CEO has to ask whether the operating model is improving. The CEO cannot only ask whether one function got faster. The CEO has to ask whether the business is becoming more productive, more resilient, more efficient, and more competitive. That is why the CEO AI Leverage Report is not just a report about AI buying. It is a report about AI accountability. It shows that the CEO's signature now carries 4 consequences. First, the proof clock starts. Once the CEO signs, the organization expects measurable return. Second, the budget becomes visible. AI spend has moved into core budgets, which means it has to compete with other serious operating priorities. Third, the governance bill arrives. When AI moves quickly, security, compliance, data, and access risks follow. Fourth, the operating model has to change. If AI does not change how work gets done, the company may have AI adoption, but it does not have AI leverage. That is the difference. Adoption is having AI. Leverage is changing the company's output. Transformation is changing how the company operates. The CEO has to distinguish between all 3. The report also connects the CEO seat to the governance problem. In Open Future Forum's security room, 69% had no dedicated AI security budget line, while 62% named securing AI agents and their access as the biggest problem on their desk. That is a CEO issue, because CEO-paced deployment creates a governance bill. The company may move quickly to adopt AI, but if governance is funded case by case, the risk accumulates below the surface. AI agents can touch systems, they can access data, they can use credentials, they can trigger workflows, they can act across functions. So the CEO has to ask, what can this AI reach? Who owns the risk? Who approved the access? What budget governs it? What happens when it fails? Those are now CEO-level AI governance questions. This is why the CEO AI Leverage Report matters for the whole C-suite. For CEOs, it gives language for the mandate gap. The CEO signs the AI story, but the proof lives inside the functions. For CFOs, it shows why AI spend now needs a hard ROI story. For CIOs and CTOs, it shows why AI deployment has to connect to operating outcomes, not just systems implementation. For CISOs, it shows why AI governance cannot be an afterthought. For CMOs, it shows why AI leverage has to connect to authority, attribution, customer insight, and growth. For CROs, it shows why AI has to show up in pipeline, productivity, and revenue operations. For boards, it clarifies the question they should be asking the CEO: where is AI actually creating leverage? Not where are we experimenting, not what tools did we buy, not what vendors are in the stack. Where is AI changing the company's performance? That is the board level question, and that is the CEO level answer. The first wave of AI was about experimentation. The second wave was about deployment. The third wave is about proof. Now the CEO has to show what AI actually changed. What did AI make faster? What did AI make cheaper? What did AI make more measurable? What did AI improve? What did AI replace? What did AI help the company stop doing? What did AI help the company do that was previously impossible? Those are CEO AI leverage questions. And those are the questions the CEO AI Leverage Report is built around. The CEO AI Leverage Report from Open Future Forum captures a major shift in the enterprise AI conversation. The CEO is no longer outside the AI decision. the CEO is increasingly the decision. But the CEO still has to close the distance between the signature and the proof. That is the mandate gap. The CEO signs the ambition. The company has to produce the leverage. The winners in the next stage of AI will not be the companies that simply buy the most AI tools. They will be the companies that can connect AI to measurable output, stronger governance, better workflows, faster execution, and better operating economics. They will be the companies that can say, "This is what AI changed." That is the new CEO mandate. Read the CEO AI Leverage Report from Open Future Forum. And for more executive briefings on AI, leadership, growth, governance, and the future of business, subscribe to the Murray Newlands Show.